Hi there, how are you all? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you have finished the first chapter of Prose. उम्मीद है आपको कोई परेशानी नहीं हुई होगी because I had sent you the PDF. So please continue from where you have stopped. Okay? अभी तक तो most of you must have finished the work. So today I'll be starting the new chapter, A Fellow Traveler. Very interesting chapter. You will enjoy it. A Fellow Traveler is a chapter which is written by A.G. Gardiner. A.G. Gardiner basically he was born in 1865 and he was an essayist, means वो essays लिखते थे. बीच में उन्होंने stories लिखना भी शुरू करा. And this is one quite interesting story because the story deals with the as the title suggests, a fellow traveler. इसका मतलब कि जो राइटर हैं वो कहीं ट्रैवल कर रहे थे और उनको अपने साथ एक साथी मिलता है with whom he is traveling. He is his companion through his journey. But this companion is quite interesting because the companion is a mosquito. And how the traveler spends his time with the mosquito is what is written in this chapter. Quite interesting how the mosquito becomes or acts quite superior than a human being, और कैसे एक human being एक मच्छर के आगे थोड़ा सा कमज़ोर पड़ जाता है, but a human being has got brains which the mosquito has not. So कैसे वो अपनी superiority he shows his superiority to the mosquito and makes him believe that whatever may be the situation, man is superior to you, dear little insect, though you have tried to trouble me very much, but all the same I'll show you what a human being is. So an interesting story, you will like it. I hope you have your books in front of you. Please open it to the second chapter, A Fellow Traveler. And here I begin. I do not know which of us got into the carriage first. Indeed, I did not know he was in the carriage at all for some time. It was the last train from London to Midland Town, a stopping train, an infinitely leisurely train, one of those trains which give you an understanding of eternity. It was tolerably full when it started, but as we stopped at the suburban stations, all the travellers alighted in ones and twos, and by the time we had left the outer ring of London behind, I was alone, or rather, I thought I was alone. Right? So, the traveller is the writer. The writer is traveling from London to Midland Town and he has taken a passenger train. And you can imagine what kind of a train is a passenger train, जो एक तो बहुत धीरे धीरे चलती है, दूसरा हर स्टेशन पे रुकती है. So that's why. But see the beauty of words. The writer's playing with words. He says, the train gave you a feeling of eternity. यानी कि ऐसा लग रहा था जैसे आप हमेशा से उस ट्रेन में बैठे ही हुए हैं और वो ट्रेन चली जा रही है और कभी आपकी जर्नी एंड नहीं होगी. One more interesting description that I liked was that it says that it was an infinitely leisurely train. मतलब वो अपने लेजर से चल रही थी, धीरे धीरे चल रही थी, कोई किसी को चिंता नहीं है कि वो कब तक वो ट्रेन पहुंचाएगी उसके डेस्टिनेशन पे. But it was a slow train. The writer could have written the train is very slow or was very slow, but he has written it was an infinitely leisurely train which gave you a sense of eternity, which means that it was a very slow train and it stopped at every station. So when the journey started, there were a lot of people in the train और एक एक दो करके फिर धीरे धीरे सब उतरते गए और जब तक they were out of London, the writer was alone in the carriage, or rather he thought that he was alone. He did not know that he had another companion in the train, and that's what he finds out later on as he decides to enjoy, because वो सोचता है कि वो अकेला है ट्रेन में और अब वो कुछ भी कर सकता है जो उसका मन है, क्योंकि उस कैरेज में और कोई नहीं था उस कंपार्टमेंट में. सो जब तक राइटर ये डिसाइड करता है कि अब मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ, तब उसको पता चलता है कि वो उस कंपार्टमेंट में अकेला नहीं है, उसके साथ एक और साथी है. एंड हु इज़ दैट कंपेनियन? अ लिटिल मस्कीटो. There is a pleasant sense of freedom about being alone in a carriage that is joltily, noisily through the night. It is liberty and unrestrained in a very agreeable form. You can do anything you like. You can talk to yourself as loud as you please, and no one will hear you. You can have that argument out with Jones and roll him triumphantly in the dust without the fear of a counterstroke. You can stand on your head and no one will see you. You can sing or dance a step or two, or practice golf stroke, or play marbles on the floor without let or hindrance. You can open or shut the window, provoking a protest. You can open both windows or shut both. Indeed, you can go on opening and shutting them as a sort of festival of freedom. You can have any corner you choose and try all of them in turns. You can lie at full length on the cushions and enjoy the luxury of breaking the regulations and possibly the heart of Dora herself. Only Dora will not know that her heart is broken. You have escaped even Dora. Right? So the writer says that he is enjoying the journey. He says कि जब वो अकेला हो गया, जब सब चले गए उस कंपार्टमेंट से, और अभी तक वो अपने कंपेनियन से मिला नहीं है, तो उसको he had this great sense of freedom. उसको मज़ा आने लगा. And then he says कि ट्रेन जा रही थी and I had the freedom to do anything. I could dance, I could sing, गोल्फ भी खेल सकता था वहाँ पे, लेट भी सकता था, उठ भी सकता था, ट्रेन के किसी कोने में भी जाके बैठ सकता था, हर कोना ट्राई कर सकता था. And these thoughts are in his mind that he could do anything. He could jump, he could sing out loud, he could play with the windows, shut them and open them, and shut them and open them, and nobody would say anything because there was nobody in that compartment. वो इवन इमेजिन करता है कि एक जोन्स नाम का आदमी है और वो उससे कुश्ती लड़ रहा है, एंड उसको उसने गिरा दिया है, और कोई लोग उसको कोई कुछ कहने वाला नहीं है कि why are you beating this man, because in his imagination he has won the wrestling match also, and above all he has even broken Dora's heart. Actually, Dora is a rule in London, a rule followed by the railway people, and it is a law. But instead of the writer saying that he had broken the law, he says that he had broken the heart of Dora. Okay, so that's a beautiful description of how he is breaking the rules, but he is personifying it with the person, and he's saying, I broke the heart of Dora, only Dora did not know about it. Right? On this night, I did not do any of these things. They did not happen to occur to me. What I did was much more ordinary. When the last of my fellow passengers had gone, I put down my paper, stretched my arms and my legs, stood up and looked out of the window on the calm summer night through which I was journeying. Nothing, the pale remnants of day that still lingered in the northern sky. Crossed the carriage and looked out of the other window, lit a cigarette, sat down, and began to read again. It was then that I became aware of my fellow traveler. He became and sat on my nose. He was one of those wingy, nippy, intrepid insects that we call vaguely mosquitoes. I flicked him off my nose, and he made a tour of the compartment, investigated its 3 dimensions, visited each window, fluttered round the light, decided that there was nothing so interesting as that large animal in the corner, came and had a look on my neck. Right. So he says that इतना सब कुछ जो उसने पिछले पैराग्राफ में बोला है कि he could sing, he could dance, he could jump, he could play golf, he could play with the windows, he could sleep anywhere, he could sit anywhere, but he did not do any of those things. Okay? Instead, what he did was that he just took a stroll of the compartment. He lit a cigarette and sat down to read the newspaper. और जब वो न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ रहा था, then he realized that he was not alone, but he had a companion with him. And who else was the companion, and where did he found him? Well, the companion was a wingy, nippy mosquito who was sitting on his nose. उसके नाक पे आके वो बैठता है, तब उसको रियलाइज़ होता है कि वो कंपार्टमेंट में अकेला नहीं है, बल्कि वो little mosquito is his traveler, or that mosquito is his companion for the day. So he just flicks it off, मतलब flick मतलब ऐसे करके हटाना, और वो mosquito भी वो चले जाता है. Mosquito also, like the man, goes through the whole compartment, हर जगह पे, हर विंडो पे, हर लाइट पे जाके देखता है, कुशन पे जाके बैठता है, पर उसको इतना इंटरेस्टिंग कुछ भी नहीं लगता जितना इंटरेस्टिंग वो आदमी था. So even the mosquito did not enjoy the freedom that he also, or the mosquito also, could have experienced otherwise. Instead, he finds this man very, very interesting, and he comes and sits on his neck. Right? In the next module, I will tell you what happens. क्या वो मच्छर को मार पाया या मच्छर ने उसको काट लिया? Okay? This I will tell you in the next module. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.